As Winston Churchill once said, never let a good crisis go to waste. All of us should be analyzing our business, what works, what doesn't work, and move forward from there. My name is Merrill, CEO of Mark Research. I'm a 35-year veteran of the research and insights community and the host of our podcast, On the Mark. Today's podcast will be a little bit different, as I'll be focusing on 2021 trends, predictions, thoughts, and opportunities. The reality is everything is changing around us. I just want you to think about scratching your head a little bit and think about some of the ideas and projections and trends that I'm talking about. Maybe I'll be right, maybe I'll be wrong, but the reality is I want you to scratch your head and really think about them. John F. Kennedy once said, when written in Chinese, the word crisis is composed of two characters. One represents danger, while the other represents opportunity. And I think that is so true for 2021 and beyond. Think about all these companies: Lane Bryant, Lord & Taylor, Joseph A. Bank, Chuck E. Cheese, Pier 1 Imports, JCPenney, Neiman Marcus, Steinmark, Men's Warehouse, Century 21. What do they all have in common? They have all gone into bankruptcy. Now, it might be protection. I'm not saying each of them are going to go out of business, but the reality is their businesses continue to change and change dramatically. Think about Chick-fil-A during the pandemic. The lines that we've all seen going through their drive-thru, they are jamming with new customers. CVS and Walgreens, for me, I used to go in there for one or two items. Now I'll go in for 7 or 8 or 9 items, and lots of people will follow suit because they think it's a pharmacy. It's much better and more safer to go in. So I might go in for one thing, and now I'll get milk or eggs and a few other things. The cruise industry clearly decimated, as is the movie theaters. They're all scurrying around to try to figure out what's next for them, and who knows? Maybe drive-in movie theaters actually come back. The pandemic has led to an enormous golf boom. In September of 2020, 25.5% more golf rounds were played than last year. Think about that. And they were able to react quickly. The game is safer. They eliminated bunker rakes and leaving flat sticks in the holes, and they limited players to 1 per cart. Callaway Golf brought in almost $500 million in Q3 sales, the best third quarter in the company's 38-year history. And the number of junior golfers has increased by over 500,000 golfers this year. That's incredible. Online grocery sales will increase nearly 53% this year. COVID has fundamentally changed people's shopping habits. Fewer in-person trips. They're buying more on less trips. More e-commerce, and obviously curbside pickup is huge. All here to stay. And I know what you're saying. Okay, Merrill, that's great. But what does that mean for me and the insights community? Well, to me, I think it's all about content, first of all. I think content is the name of the game, and it's going to continue. I'm getting email after email with webinars and content around conferences, virtual conferences. If you think about what some of these companies have done, Zappy, a great innovative technology company, and Vox Populi did a virtual insight summit. You've got industry leaders like Delvinia and Schlesinger who did Amplify, a 24-hour global insights summit. If you go on the Quirk website, you're going to find listed in all the associations, there are 63 research associations there. I would argue and suggest that we've got an issue here. I think there's too many associations. I'm not sure all these companies in the world can support all these associations. I think there should be consolidation, and I think there will be, or a number of these associations are actually going to go away because they won't have the funding. And if you think about fact or fiction, free webinars will continue to be everywhere. That's a fact. Companies, in my opinion, because of that, will have more leads in 2021 than ever before. I think that's a fact. I would also suggest that researchers aren't the best marketers. That's a fact. And most researchers aren't great salespeople. And the reality is companies need to set up systems quickly to handle the more leads that they're going to have in 2021 and beyond. And that's why I think companies like Steve Hanke, from Harpeth Marketing and Cambiar with Simon Chadwick and his gang. I think these guys are going to be the most important people in the insights community, because anybody who's struggling with these leads and trying to put in systems, there is help on the way, but you've got to ask for it. I also think in 2021, there'll be the importance of loyalty programs, and it really, really increases. If you think about it, understanding customers is especially important in unpredictable environments. Isn't that what we are in now? An unpredictable environment? Forrester predicted 2021 business to consumer marketing reports that we will get 40% more marketing messages as brands try to hold on to customers and drive new purchases. 40% more in 2021 than 20. The offers are getting bigger and bigger. American Airlines used to offer 25 or 35 or 50,000 bonus miles to apply for their credit card. I think I saw one for 65,000, and it wouldn't surprise me if we get to 80,000 or 100,000. The other reality is, a few weeks ago, I was going through the drive-thru because, as you know, I'm a health nut, and I was at Dunkin' Donuts, and I remember Joan, the person behind there, said, "Hey, welcome to Dunkin' Donuts," like she always does. She said, "Would you like to pay with your DD app?" which is Dunkin' Donuts app, for those of you who couldn't break that code. The reality is, I asked her when I got to the drive-thru, and I said, "Joan, you've never asked me that before, and I come here twice a week." She said, "Yeah, a general manager asked us to do this 2 days ago." Again, they're pushing it. Home Depot expands their mobile app to reward pro customers. The reality is everybody's customers are changing. And I think because of all these messages, because of all of these marketing activities that's going to happen, I think for suppliers, it's a huge opportunity. Attention, suppliers. Here's the opportunity I see. I think message testing is going to be important in 2021, as will receiver reaction, and I think concept testing. We're getting more and more concept testing work, receiver reaction, and message testing business than we have in years, because all of our clients are 100% changing. The other thing is, attention, sample providers. We got to add data points, and lots of them, okay? We want to have targeted lists these days, and any data points that you have need to be increased, and you should be working with your clients to figure out what they need to better arm them to sell more and to service the accounts and their clients. Geo targeting and geofencing, something that hasn't made a splash, I think has an opportunity in 2021 and beyond to finally make a splash. Key difference between, for those of you who don't know, to understand when comparing geofencing and geotargeting is, geofencing sets up a boundary that triggers certain ads to display when users cross over. Whereas geotargeting, that's more focused on a specific set of users who are in the vicinity of a geolocation point. And if you think about that, and you think I'm right, and more companies are going to be using geotargeting and geofencing, I would like nothing more. We should all go after that business and build products and services to accommodate our clients. The insights community 100% should own that. If it was up to me, we would. Also in 2021, out-of-home advertising, or what's called OOH, may be one of the available solutions for marketers. Brand can serve consumers dynamic creatives based on environmental factors such as location, time of day, weather. Okay, so obviously if it's raining, you'll get ads for an umbrella or a poncho or something like that. Or time of day, if it's warmer, maybe you'll get ads that are short sleeve. The question is, on stuff like that, where does the insights community play? How do we fit in? These are important questions that all of us need to answer and traditionally go after, because if we don't, somebody else will own that space and we'll be in trouble. The other thing that I noticed is, having gone to the 2020 World Series, which happened to be in Dallas, Texas, between Tampa Bay and the Dodgers, is cash a thing of the past? This was a cashless event, meaning that you could not spend money at a kiosk. You couldn't spend money going up to any type of restaurant in there. at all. You couldn't buy a yearbook. You couldn't do anything. You couldn't buy clothes, nothing. It was a cashless experience. So what happens if you showed up and you only had cash? It was basically a reverse ATM were installed. Okay, so basically it was a cash to credit kiosk. You put your cash in, you get a card that spits out for $50 or whatever the amount you put in, and then you can use it in the stadium. What if we had a cashless society? What if I'm right? Do we spend more? You know, if I'm at a casino gambling away and I'm at a blackjack table and I got a couple $100 chips and a bunch probably of 25s and some reds, some 5s, do I view that as money or do I do that just as play? Okay, and my gut is if we had a cashless society, people would spend more money. They also will have lots more data on us. They'll know where we are at all times through GPS. They'll be able to push special offers to us, and they'll know all of our buying habits. Now, where does banks come in? Is it increased revenue for banks? I don't know, but I think it's an important question to ask for sure. I think the insights industry overall is going to be much smaller. I think the amount of revenue in total, if it was 70 billion or 80 billion, it's going to be a fraction less than that. Whether that is 10% or 15%, I don't know. But either of those numbers are billions and billions of dollars. There's still more people in transition, all on the client side, supplier, data collection, or even sample providers. They need a job. So there'll be more competition for sure. And as everybody struggles to get more and more revenue, what does it do to the prices? Is it going to drive all the prices lower from sample providers or even suppliers in 2021? That's a question that is really, really important. And if you think about the competition, because of all the layoffs and furloughs and so many people in transition, a lot of people are and have started a consulting practice. They got more choices for clients because of that. They obviously got built-in connections and established relationships, and they'll pry away some work. So the competition will be greater. And I think if the industry is shrinking, which I think we all believe it has by a percentage, we could argue if it's 10 or 15%, but it's definitely going to be less. The reality is there's less to go around. And I think there's the old adages of suppliers are staying up late and the great debate. Do I become a generalist or a specialist, right? If you were a specialist, were you basing it on a methodology? Were you just a qualitative company? Did you focus on segmentation studies? Did you focus on certain verticals? Maybe it was hospitality, maybe it was retail. The reality is if you were in the wrong specialties, if you had the wrong methodology and you were only a qualitative company, you got hurt in 2020. If you were in the travel and tourism business, you got hurt in 2020. And I think more and more companies are going to switch from being a specialist to a generalist. Okay, the more specialized you were, there's a decent chance the more vulnerable you were. And I do believe diversification is 100% the key to 2021. All of the CEOs that I speak to, they are very much into diversifying their portfolio, adding to their products, adding to their services, and I think that's the key. I also believe that clients will have less vendors, not partners, but less vendors. Let me just expand on that for a second. If a company had 40 vendors that they used and 5 partners, they may go down to 32 vendors and still 5 partners. I don't think partners change, but I do think vendors change. So you really need to turn yourself from a vendor to a partner. You need to better understand their business. You really need to bring something to the party. And it's your time to shine. Okay? Be different. Separate yourself from the competition, and we all need to go wide and deep. What's next? Those are some of my thoughts. As Winston Churchill once said, never let a good crisis go to waste. All of us should be analyzing our business, what works, what doesn't work, and move forward from there. Thanks for listening to the On the Mark podcast, focusing on some 2021 trends, predictions, thoughts, and opportunities. My name is Merrill. Have a great day.